Welcome to this month's small group. The topic, as you can see, is Acolyte. And what is an Acolyte? We'll go through a few things. You guys just got done watching Chuck Knows Church, so you got a summary or an idea of what the Acolyte does if you didn't before, or what an Acolyte was. You've probably seen them walk up and down the aisles with or walk up and down the church with the light and the candle, and lighting the candles, but you may have had no idea what they were actually called. They're called an acolyte, originating, as Chuck said, from the Greek word. So we're going to go through a few things on acolyte and some of the different things that an acolyte is considered. Acolyte, if you look it up in the dictionary, is to assist. You're assisting the clergy or the pastor with his service. Anything they might need, from holding something to getting something for him, to assisting him with the baptism, or assisting with a reading, or in most cases, and you'll see in all these slides, a lot of time they're the ones that are lighting the candles within the church. They also, in some churches, could be the one presiding or preceding the pastor with the flag or the cross coming into the service. So it's kind of like an assistant to the pastor during services. I know we have the lay leader, and he's the assistant to the pastor. However, this is one that could actually use other members of the congregation, which is part of the whole concept of getting the connectional and being able to get the congregation involved in the service by having an acolyte or someone else to assist the pastor besides the lay leader. It's also discussed in the GBOD and the UnitedMethodist.org that they're also used as followers. So everyone could be considered, very similar to disciples and apostles and all, as followers of Jesus. In the book, Everyone a Minister, we all are ministers in a certain way. Yes, we might not be standing up there on Sunday morning giving the sermon like the pastor does. However, we're ministering in another way, and it's using our gifts and talents that God has given us to be able to do different ministries to help others. So there are just a couple of definitions through Webster's. We also have what we think about it. Again, most people think of the acolyte as the person that goes up, lights the candles, then goes and puts them out and brings the stick back with it lit, and the service is over. There's a little bit more to it than that. Also in the UnitedMethodist.org or UMC.org, we see they give a verse, John 8:14 or 8:12, and it's very similar to us, or very familiar to us, with the "I am the light of the world" section of that verse. We're bringing the light into the world. When we leave, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, we're taking Jesus' love or Jesus' light into the world. The flame represents Jesus. It's also said in Matthew 18:20, where two or more are gathered. Again, another familiar verse. Where they're gathered, I will be also. The flame or the candle is a representation of Jesus being there with us. The acolyte comes in the church, lights the candle, representing that Jesus is there. In a lot of churches, there's more than one candle. In our church and many others, there's two candles. In that case, one is representative that God or Jesus is God, but also that at one point he was human on earth. So that's what the two candles are actually for. It's not to balance the symmetry of the communion table or balance out the lighting in the church. There is actually a representation of that in the lighting of two candles versus just one. When the acolyte leaves, you'll notice he or she will come up, they'll extinguish one of the candles, and then they'll take the wick and actually take a light from the last candle and then extinguish that one. Then they'll come around and they'll walk outwards towards the church after the pastor. This is signifying that Jesus is always there, always with us, and now we're going to take him out of the world. We'll let the world share him. Everyone will share in Jesus' love. But will also be a representation, so to speak, of us, where we're going to take Jesus into the world, not just leave it in the church. Not just come there on Sunday and, okay, we're going to worship, and then the rest of the week, okay, we'll forget about it till we come back next Sunday and get our Sunday morning fix. We're coming in and we're learning about God, we're experiencing God's love, His presence there, and then we're actually taking that into the world and making a difference in the world. Letting others know about Jesus and letting others know that because you're a Christian, you also are different, and show them the good and the love of Jesus Christ. But wait, there's more! Yes, an acolyte isn't just what everybody sees on Sunday. It's not just that lighting of the candle. An acolyte is a general term for somebody that helps out with the pastor during the church service. It could be multitudes of different duties that are assigned based upon your church's needs and what the pastor and or congregation would like to be involved with. So it's not just for lighting candles anymore. There's a bunch of things that can be done. A couple of them are listed up here. They could help out with baptisms, as far as holding something, a towel, or getting stuff ready and all set up. It could be getting things ready for communion, or assisting the pastor with communion if you have a large congregation. Depending how the communion is done, they could be the one holding the cup. We've seen this when we had our Maundy Thursday services over at the Presbyterian Church where that was done. We also have seen it sometimes at our church in different types of communion. And any other function that pastor might need could be, that person doing it could be considered an acolyte. So it's not just lighting of candles, it's anything that could assist with the service. And like we said, one of the definitions that was found was being a follower. You're following Jesus, so anything we do in that avenue or that respect, again, could be considered an acolyte. Acolytes don't have an age limit. There is an age requirement. You have to be 36 inches tall, your head has to be underneath the little finger that points this high, or you have to be, once you're 18, you're good to go. They can be children, teens, adults, anybody that can accept that responsibility of whatever the task might be and can go out and perform that. So, don't worry, you're never too young or never too old to be able to be an acolyte and help out in the church. It's also a nice thing that you're kind of starting them on a mentoring program to become more involved in the church and to grow in the church. Not only with knowledge, with Sunday school, or spiritually as they worship, but also with the different going-ons of the church and being a part of that. So it's kind of a nice little thing there that we can bring people, and again, doesn't have to be any certain age. It could be a newer member that's an adult, or it could be trying to bring a child up or get them more involved in the church. There's a bunch of acolyte programs out there. There's one actually that has been filtered as I was doing the research today on this, where there's a couple books that were guided from the United Methodist Church and written by folks that have been to Drew Seminary and so forth that are out there. One's an actual student book, and then there's an actual program for an instructor or a leader to guide them through. They can be, like we said, at any age we can start the program. They'll show the proper way to do the different tasks or assignments that are needing to be done. And as we've seen, whether it be Chris Mons looking at things differently, interpretation it will be there from church to church, I'm sure. But the basic guide is there to help them out along their journey. Usually when you're looking for an acolyte, you want somebody that comes regularly, obviously, because if they're going to be part of the church service, you want them to be there. If they're not there, they're not going to do much good as far as trying to get the duties done. So you want somebody that's active. And it's nice because it involves, like we said before, the congregation, the pastor, giving of your time and talents to help out in the church service. It makes it like we say, we like to say the Methodist Church is connectional. We're all together and connected. This is one way where internally inside the church, we can work together towards a common goal. The nice thing, we actually did it on a Sunday service in December one year with Christmas. we actually had, we called it the Symbols of Christmas. Signs or Symbols of Christmas. And we actually had different members of the congregation get up and actually do the sermon. We had the singing we normally do, but throughout the course of the day, we took different symbols that we saw throughout the Christmas season, and a different family or a different person would get up and give the service. Very similar to a Laity Sunday, just on a smaller scale where the congregation assist is not just the pastor doing the entire service. He's being assisted, and it's through all the people in the church. As far as the uniform goes, obviously, God doesn't care what you wear just as long as you come to church, correct? Well, same here. However, as you see the pastor from time to time wear a robe, sometimes on special occasions, maybe Easter, Good Friday, or other special occasions, the Acolyte also does have a uniform as well. They will wear a robe of some type, and it will be worn with some type of belt or cincher worn around their waist. That is the robe obviously stays one color, but the waistband or rope that's worn around can change color based upon the Christian calendar, very similar to the liturgical colors and so forth. So that can change throughout the year, but it's basically a robe with something around their waist. Again, depending church that you go to and how strict they are or how more casual they may be, they may or may not have the robe. Again, the important part is the meaning behind what they're doing, and again, this is with the robe or whatever function they're doing. The lighting of the candles, bringing Jesus into the church, being there with us, and then going out into the world. The meaning is more important than the attire. This is just another ministry. I spoke before about Everyone a Minister, the book, and it's true. This is just another way that we can use our times and our talents to be able to give them back to God. It's just in the Acolyte's just another one of those different ministries, just like reaching out to the poor or talking to those that are shut in, or a video ministry, or helping out with Ronald McDonald House. All these are different ministries that we do to give back to God and to help His people. All attendees that you have in your church, whether they're members or not, all have some type of talents. This is just another way they can get it out. So I would also encourage that any talents you may have that would help out the church or help God out or help His people out, bring them forward. Start to use them. There's always a spot for somebody that's willing to give of their time and efforts and use their gifts towards God. As always, there's our references for this session of our monthly small group on the different parts of the church. We'll decide tonight what our next topic's going to be. This one, for those of you that are tuning in and watching this, are probably, you were getting surprised you didn't know what the topic was. But last month we decided that it was going to be a surprise. So hopefully it was a good surprise. I know some people have asked for this topic. We'll do another one next month, and hope you enjoyed. Good night, or good day.